Hello and a very warm welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you about relative pronouns. I will tell you what relative pronouns are. I will give you some examples of relative pronouns, and I will give you some examples of how those relative pronouns can be used. Let us begin. Relative pronouns are used in sentences to provide specific details about a noun. A noun is a name of a person, a place, or a thing. So what relative pronouns do is they give us details. They specify exactly what we are talking about. The first relative pronoun is who. Who provides specific details about people. Who provides specific details about people. Now, look at example 1. John is the taxi driver who brings me to school. In this case, who helps us know that we are talking about John, the taxi driver, not Peter, the taxi driver. Okay? Not James, the taxi driver, but John. Okay? John is the taxi driver who brings me to school. So it is not James who brings me to school. It is John, the taxi driver, who brings me to school. In this case, you notice that the pronoun, the relative pronoun, who, comes immediately after the noun John, the taxi driver. So usually relative pronouns in a sentence come immediately after the noun, okay? John, the taxi driver. Now, you could also just say, without the relative pronoun, that John brings me to school. But you want to be very specific about who you are talking about. John brings me to school. Which John? John, the taxi driver. Okay? Now, the second, so we normally use who as a relative pronoun when we are providing specific details about people. Stella is the girl who called me yesterday. Stella is the girl who called me yesterday. Alex is the doctor who I call every time I feel sick. Now, the next one is which. Which is a relative pronoun that is used to specify animals and things. Okay? It specifies which animal we are talking about. It specifies what thing we are talking about. Now, look at example 2. This is the pan which I used to fry an egg. This is the pan which I used to fry an egg. In this case, which specifies the pan. Which pan? Okay? the pan which you use to fry an egg. Now, let's remove which from that sentence. We could say, this is the pan I use to fry an egg. Okay? But when you use which here, you are very specific that it is that particular pan which you use to fry an egg. Now, that is an example of which being used to specify an object or a thing, which is the pan. And once more, which comes immediately after the pan. Look at example 3. It is the cat which scratched me. It is the cat which scratched me. In this case, there are many cats, but there is one particular one which scratched you. So you want to be very specific so that someone understands which cat you're talking about. Okay? It is the cat which scratched me. And once more, which comes immediately after the noun, the cat. So example 2 is giving us an example of when which is used to specify things, which is the pan, but example 3 is used to provide us with an example of when we use which to specify animals, in this case, a cat. So you only use which for animals and things. Let us move on to the third relative pronoun, which is that. Now that is a very good one because we use it for everything. We use it for people, we use it for animals, and we use it for things. So when you want to be specific, when you want to specify who you are talking about in terms of a person or an animal or an object, you can use that. Look at example 6. It is the cup that I used to drink tea. It is the cup that I used to drink tea. Now, once more, that comes immediately after the noun cup. So you want to be very specific about which cup you used this morning to drink tea. It is the cup, this one. It is the cup that I used to drink tea. In this case, the relative pronoun is used to specify a thing, which is a cup. But like I have told you, that is a relative pronoun that you use for everything. So now let us look at example 1 and use that. John is the taxi driver that brings me to school. That is perfectly correct. Number 2, this is the pan that I use to fry an egg. That is perfectly correct. Number 3, it is the cat that scratched me. That is also perfectly correct. So whenever you feel confused, you're not very sure of which relative pronoun to use, always use that and you will be right. Now let us move on to the fourth one, which is whose. Whose is a very special relative pronoun because we use to indicate that something belongs to someone. It is used to indicate to whom something belongs to, okay? It is possessive, okay? It is used for possessive reasons to show that something belongs to someone else. And we use it only for people and animals, not objects, okay? We only use whose to specify people and animals. Now, let us look at example 5. The boy whose bike is missing is crying. The boy whose bike is missing is crying. So in this case, you notice that it is possessive because the bike belongs to the boy. The bike belongs to the boy. So which boy is crying outside? It is the boy whose bike is missing. So you identify people by the things that belong to them. I will give you another example. That is the girl. It is the girl whose mother passed away last week. It is the girl whose mother passed away last week. Okay? It is the dog whose ball has gone missing. It is the dog whose toy has disappeared. Okay? So in that case, the toy belongs to the dog. So remember, we use whose to show possession, meaning to show that something belongs to somebody else. And then we have the last relative pronoun, which is whom. Whom is also very special because we use it only for people, but also it is often used with a preposition. For example, to, from, with. Okay? Look at example 4. He is the doctor to whom I go to when I fall sick. He is the doctor to whom I go to when I fall sick. So you notice that whom here is combined with the preposition to. Remember to only use whom for people. And number 2, remember to always combine it with a preposition. I will give you some more examples. He is the man to whom I bring my car every time it breaks down. He is the mechanic to whom I bring my car every time it breaks down. He is the boy from whom I borrowed this book. He is the boy from whom I borrowed this book. Okay? And this brings us to the end of this lesson. Just to summarize the lesson, remember to use relative pronouns when you want to specify something about people, animals, or things. When you use them, remember to use them immediately after the noun in your sentence, okay? And number 3, remember when you feel confused, always use the relative pronoun that, okay? Because we use that for people, we use that for animals and for things, okay? And finally, remember whom is a very special relative pronoun. Always use it combined with a preposition. Now, thank you very much for watching this video. If you found the content useful, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you very much and see you in our next lesson. Bye-bye.